tell me what you can and can't hear when I do this. London. Not good, whatever that is. That is not how you want a car to sound. Let's get it again. You gotta stop the engine because all you can hear is the exhaust normally. That's not right. That's not right at all. Before we get started on the video, just wanted to say, please like, please subscribe, and let's see what we can get done to this Corsa. Enjoy. Now, hopefully from that and from this, you can hear what it sounds like. And that's not what we want. We don't want it to sound like that. It's my biggest concern when driving it. Obviously the exhaust makes a loud noise, but that's just something, and the clutch is a later job. But that noise, the grinding, the rubbing, there's a few issues down here in that corner that we're going to have a look at today and try to fix at least one or two of them. There's one that I think might need a little bit more love, but we've got a few hours today to try and get that sorted. So I guess let's just get to it. So you saw the damage that it sounds like. Now we're going to get down to the fixing part. Let's have some fun. So I started by getting the old wheel off. However, it turns out it wasn't going to be that easy. There was a tyre iron for the car, but I left it in the boot, and where the battery had died again, and I couldn't open the boot. So you are now watching me struggle for. When this comes out, you know it's no longer a suggestion. Yeah, so I did what I do best, and I got this huge torque wrench, which I used more of a breaker bar. That was initially a torque wrench. I now use it as a way of gently convincing the bolts that they need to leave. Anyway, let's continue. After loosening the bolts, I just jacked the car up and take the tyre off. I slid it under the car as well, for safety. So, I think we found what could potentially be said as one of the first issues. Now, I'm pretty sure the wheel bearings are gone, so I bought the entire hub. I'm not looking forward to changing the whole thing, but I've decided it's the best way, because it's always better to be safe than sorry. However, let's take a close look at this. So, you see this bad boy right here? That's my brake caliper and my brake pad. You see the state of these? Yeah, that right there is seized to it. Even if I take the handbrake off, that is still seized to it, and it is not looking good. That's one of the grinding noises you hear when you drive. It's absolutely done damage to the disc, and there is zero pad left, which means that either the caliper is seized or it just needs something. But let's keep going, and as we're taking it apart, hopefully we don't find many more issues. However, otherwise for rust and stuff, I've definitely seen worse. If you've seen my Focus videos, you would have seen that those were just, yeah, pure rust. That is a massive spider. Anyway, let's get on with it. So handbrake off, and you can see it is still just absolutely stuck to it. If we rush around to this side, hopefully, God, it's hot today. Yeah, you can kind of have a look in there. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that one is not seized. So that's obviously a cause of the issue, a cause of the sound and the noise that we don't want. But we're going to take that off now and get to the real issues. So yeah, as I said, let's continue. I'm not honestly sure why there's a few clips of me just sitting here staring at it, like at things, but that's just the way I am. But yeah, no, I literally just opened up the package, make sure that it was actually the same before I start taking it all apart, so it wouldn't cause an issue. Just so you know, if you're ever looking at car stuff, your pads shouldn't look like this. I mean, that's, yeah. That is not correct. However, if it wants to get out, which it doesn't seem like it does, that is good. That is more like it. That's more what we need to see. That's not too bad, that. Cool. And then we've got a couple of bolts just back here that we can use to take those off. And what I'll do, just to be safe, to make sure we don't lose any of the bits, is we'll just put the bolts in there so I know where they come from. Otherwise, I know what I'm like and I will lose them. yeah, so now that the caliper was taken off, I've taken off the bracket that obviously holds the caliper as well and the brake pads, so we can get down to the disc. So my phone ran out of space, which is always fun. What I was going to say before that happened was this car is incredibly rusty, which is leading to not punching it, but fighting with it, which is always what you want. Once we get this off, we get the disc off, we can then start actually getting the entire hub off. So it's just sort of getting past these rusty bolts, and we can have a look at everything properly and in detail. But yeah, I've just got to try and break these off first, and then we can have a look. So let's get back to it. Keeping with the theme, I take the bracket off so we can get down to the disc. Obviously, it took me a little bit of strength to get it, and then I had a few issues actually getting the bolt stuck. You've done sport, you know how absolutely terrifying this is, because it never works properly. It's never the way you want it to be. And these things, these torque bolts, they like to bend and they like to break. Now, genuinely, I'm not lying when I tell you that this took me hours. So it did round. Give me 1 second. So, as I said, it did round, which meant we had to go and grab the drill. Now, my brother-in-law, which you're just about to see his bottom, he obviously lended me his drill, which was lovely of him. This took me much longer than I would like to admit. The bits kept snapping. I don't know what was going on, but we managed to get it out, and then we used the crocodile clips and just, twisted the bit that was left in there out. I'm going to get new pads and discs anyway, as I said, so we should hopefully get a replacement screw. And it's out. Finally, after all of that, and then having to go and get a drill and all the bits and pieces, we finally got the disc off. The screw is ruined for it. That was not fun, but now we are down to what is just basically the hub, and we can start doing what we actually came here for. Those screws, they do wear, and especially when a car's been sitting and hasn't had a change for a while, they do get even worse. So my brother-in-law, lovely, has, as you've probably just seen from the video, got me a drill, and with that drill we've managed to finally get it off. And yeah, now we're going to be working on actually getting the hub away from the car and replace it with the new one, and with the hopes it's going to make it better. Whoa. Yeah, I thought I'd keep in the fact that I just sat there staring at it for like 5 minutes. I had to cut it. But yeah, here we just disconnect the sensor from the new one from the breaker, and then we start working on the bolts that hold the hub to the shock. Because it's different on this one compared to the See It. So in the See It, the shock goes directly into the hub. In this one, there's bolts in the back. Where did that go? Oh, there. Right, I'll do this one so we can actually see it this time. We've got the old Ugga Dugger out from lovingly stuck in it. That's one way to do it. Yay! Right. So now get these bad boy bolts off. Beautifully done. Life gets so much easier with an Ugga Dugger machine. Oh, she's stuck. So I spent about 15 minutes trying to take off the anti-roll, I think that is. And turns out I don't need to take that off, I'm just being an idiot. So now it's just this last one, and then I have to take this off. I do have a big enough piece for that's in my car though. But I've got to take this one off first and then separate that. So yeah, now that the shock is disconnected, we disconnect the control arm, the anti-roll, and also the drive shaft when we get round to it. So that's what I'm currently working on right now. The bolt at the bottom of the linkage got stuck, so I had to use some perseverance to get it out. So I've been gone for a little while, but we are making some good progress. We now officially have pretty much everything disconnected, apart from obviously pulling it away. So all the bolts are undone. So we've just got to try and pull away the hub. It's been a serious bit of engineering. This car hasn't been touched for a long time, and you can tell when you're doing the work on it. So we have managed to get the hub out. This machine here that I've been lovingly borrowed from my brother-in-law has genuinely saved my life. I'm doing a bolt that I put in so I can keep it all sort of fit, and then I should be able to hopefully start to pull it away and get the new one in. But that is whether or not the world will accept me to do that. So let's give it a go, shall we? So I didn't record it because my phone ran out of battery again, but I disconnected the 30mm that's in the center of the hub so I could pull the hub away from the shaft, and now I am just literally working on beating the control arm at the bottom. There is normally a clip, well not a clip, but it's a bit that bolts together and it bolts around it. That had completely seized, but I don't think this has ever been taken off. So it has come to my attention that a lot of the suspension on this car is going to have to be replaced anyway, because I needed to get this off, and some of the bolts just aren't working in my favor. So I'm gonna do some zerving, because the Agadaga ain't Agadagging, and it's just stuck. So, and now I can't get the battery off. So there you go. Cool. In a bit. This is where the perseverance came in. I ended up using a drill to take off the nut on the linkage, but I did also go through about 1 million drill pieces. Sorry, Connor, I'll buy you some more. Just so you guys can see what I am doing. This bolt wasn't coming undone, so I have given it the old drill Uzi. So hopefully now I can get through to it. Yeah, a lot of the stuff's going to be replaced anyway, so you know, as long as I get it off for now, that is what I care about. Yeah, as I said, I'm normally quite fussed. I don't like to damage things, but in this instance, I don't mind. It's going to be replaced anyway, but for the sake of this, I wanted to get it gone. This car is pushing my limits. This was once a bolt. After about 6 drill bits and about an hour of hammering and drilling, it's come off. I don't know how it was stuck on there so bad, but it was on. But now I can do that, which is all I was trying to do from it. Now I've just got to disattach the shaft and also this bottom bit, unplug that, and the hub is off. Oh my god, it has been a day. I much prefer doing the Temu videos. I know actually I prefer doing this, but god, the Temu videos are easier. Let's just unplug the final bits and get on our way. And that is one sensor taken off there. Beautiful, beautiful. And then we just have to disattach the control arm, and then that is that sorted. Hello. My mum just brought me a roll.
That's what mums do.
Thank you, Mum.
Cheese and ham.
I love cheese and ham.
I thought so.
Yeah, this has been an absolute pain in my bottom. But yeah, we're almost at the bit I wanted to do.
If
so.
I've taught you anything, you never give up.
I don't give up, and that's the worst part about it, because I'd love to give up. After a bit of inspiration and some rolls from my mother, I now spend genuinely a few hours, or an hour or so, just trying to get the control arm off. Where it has seized in there, I just battered it with a mallet, and I ended up having to use some serious persuasion to get it out. But it did eventually get out, which is great news. As I said, most of this will be replaced anyway, so not too big of a deal. Right, so the bits you're probably going to see, probably going to be shortened down to like 9-10 minutes. It has been hours upon hours of getting this done. We finally have the old one off, which took me much longer than I'd like to say. It's absolutely battered, but I want to just have a look to see if you can actually feel or hear anything in the wheel bearings, because then that means this whole thing hasn't been a complete waste of my time. If you can't, then I am in the wrong place completely, and I've just done my entire day for nothing. So let's have a look. Okay, so it wasn't a complete and utter waste of my time. 1 second. it wasn't a complete and utter waste of my time. I don't know if you can hear this. It's like grindy and crunchy. It's not very smooth, right? So this is the old one. Spin it fast. Yeah, you can really hear it grinding. This is a new one. Nothing. Nothing. Oh my god, it was worth it. That just means it was worth it. All this effort was worth it, because that means we're getting rid of the dodgy wheel bearing and we're putting in a nice new one. Yeah, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug that in and just sort of reattach it back on so it doesn't get dust everywhere, and then we're going to call it a day, because I don't want to put all of the suspension back together just yet, because I want to do some bits down there, give it a clean up and everything, but I want to at least put the bearing back on so it doesn't, you know, my drive shaft and everything doesn't get all gross. So let's get round to that. I have made an absolute mess. Oh my god. I'm also using a stand, which is actually my mum's stand, who you've probably seen pop up in this video, because she loves social media. She loves social media just as much as I do. She's actually got her own TikTok and stuff because she's cool like that. So we're gonna go to this old crunchy bearing on my mic. My mic's been dropped on the floor, it ran out of charge from Timu anyway. It wasn't very good, but we're getting a new one at some point soon. Oh god. Right, so this is the new one. It spins lovely. I guess now we just sort of start the process of putting it back together, which is gonna be fun. So yeah, let's do that. So the process is literally what I've been through, but just reversed. I put the new one on. As you saw, obviously the difference was immense, and you could genuinely feel it when you were doing it as well. Back on nice and tight. Hello.
I'm just proving a point to TikTok.
Yeah, what's up?
About when your kids leave home.
What about it?
How long ago did you leave home?
16 years ago.
Is this my car?
Huh?
Is this my car?
This is not your car.
Whose car is it?
Well, technically it's not my car, yeah.
Whose car is it really though?
It's my car.
What's it doing on my drive?
Well, I live in a one-bedroom flat because I was kicked out at the age of 16. My mother didn't love me, so I've ended up here. And yeah, now I have no room to put my project cars, because you know I'm an aspiring YouTuber, and also I love cars. I like to work on them even if they cause me distress. And yes, mother has lovingly lended me her front garden, yes.
Is that oil all over my block paving?
That?
Yeah.
No, it's rust.
Okay.
Would you like to see the bolt that I turned into?
You got it out at long last. Like, you just feel free to park your car on the drive and...
Well, actually, let's clear something up for you for TikTok and YouTube here. I never intended on parking this car here. I got this car and I told Mum about this car, and Mum went, oh, rather than parking it somewhere random in...
Oh, you're calling me out.
Rather than parking it somewhere random
I'm trying to give
Stortford,
hope to parents who...
No, let me finish talking, right? Rather than parking it somewhere random in Stortford, why don't you bring it down to the drive? So, you know, you can have it somewhere safe, you don't have to worry about the tax, the insurance, or it getting damaged. And I was like, you don't have to do that, Mum, because I know obviously you've got 2 cars anyway.
Can you understand why your brother immigrated to Australia sometimes?
No, there's big scary animals in Australia.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, that's just... Kangaroos?
Yeah.
Is that a scary animal?
Koalas.
They're not scary. Koalas are babies.
What scary animals do they have in Australia?
Those big old spidery boys.
They're not animals, are they? They're insects.
Animals and insects are part of the same thing, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're supposed to be a teacher.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to prove that off.
Oh, I mean, I put it back on. I don't think I'm going to get back off again.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. It's half an hour, isn't it? Someone's going to rip it off next time. But yeah, thank you, Mum. Thank you, TikTok. I'll see you.
I might even feature you in your tube of you.
You will be in the tube of you. There's my mother. She's recording TikTok right now, like I just said. But anyway, to the car. I have now put this back on. I have put, obviously, this back on. It doesn't move anymore because it's in gear, because obviously then I can take the brakes off easier. We've plugged everything back in and we're just tightening these up. And then the hub is actually pretty much back on. And then we just have this big 30mm that goes just over the top here, which you then put obviously this little pin through. I'm not quite sure what this tiny bit of like super bendy plastic metal is going to do, but it keeps it together. And there's a wasp. So I'm going to finish putting the hub back together. Yeah, the only issue I'm going to have is I can't put the disc on, so I can't put brakes on. I'm going to have to buy some more brakes, but that's fine because this is a project. And to be fair, I need another bolt for this, but it's so easily accessible, this bolt, it's not going to be too bad. But I want to put some stuff back together. So yeah, let's get on with it. And yeah. So now that most of the main hub bits are back together, I literally just spent this time tightening it all back up, getting it all back on place. And yeah, that is that. So I did not recall me putting the wheel back together again. And yes, I am missing a nut from the disc, but I wanted to see if that noise is gone or at least better. I know obviously the brakes are still pretty stuck on it, but this is going to be a real good sort of indication as to whether anything worked. So that noise is the brakes, which I know. It was the sort of grinding when you take your foot off the brake. I let this car come. Then we're going to figure it out. World's slowest drivers on the road today. Foot off the accelerator, you heard sort of a grinding noise. Now you just hear the brakes, which is not good, but it's better. Once you get some pads, maybe a caliper and a disc, like better. Yeah, so it's just the brakes now. And that is a genuine, really good start to this project. I'm really happy about that. That was a big concern of mine because obviously I didn't want to be a drive shaft, I didn't want to be anything else. So that is just wonderful. The brakes do sound like they're about to die, which isn't good, but let's just park this bad boy up and finish today's episode. Now, reversing in this car, not the easiest thing in the world. And I hate sounding like I'm driving like a fake exhaust. I kind of like the way it sounds though, in a really boy-racial, childish way. I kind of like it. Try not to crush my parents' house. Beautiful. So let's turn this off before, so I can actually hear it. It's not my car. I'll get into my car. Let's turn it off. But yeah, guys, that is the first episode and the conclusion to the first piece of work on my Corsa. Now, if you're enjoying this series so far and you actually want to see what happens to the Corsa now that we're actually getting some work done to it, please remember to like, subscribe, follow, all those bits and pieces. If you've got any suggestions for what you want me to do to the Corsa, what you think the next step should be to my Corsa, then please just let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching today. It's going to be a bit of a, it took me literally about 8 hours to do this today. I had a few mishaps, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to edit it all together, but when it is, I hope it's going to be a great video. So once again, please like, subscribe, and all of that part. Thank you.